All right, y'all. What's going on, party people? All right. All right, what's going on, Caprentice? My man. Yeah. All right, Oswald, what's up? What's up? We got Cocoa Puffs in his house. All right, just hit that like button. Feel free to share. I'm jamming on some music right now. I'm trying out a new camera, so my lighting might be a little off, y'all. So don't think that I don't realize that I do. But my lighting's a little off. I'm still tweaking. I got a new webcam and just testing it out. So I'm looking at it over here on this other screen, and I can see it got a little dimness to it, but other than that, it'll be all right. I'll figure it out. All right. Yeah, I was just finishing up prepping some documents. What's going on, Wanda? And I said, you know what? I know I've been meaning to do a reverse mortgage and just sort of go over the whole document. And I recently had a reverse mortgage, and this one was a little different. Same company, AAG, but it was laid out just a little different. And I know a lot of people are afraid of reverse mortgages, but there's nothing wrong with them, people. I'm telling y'all, there's nothing wrong with reverse mortgages. And people have gotten into your head and made you think that there's something wrong with them. And who is Kimmy? I don't know who Kimmy is. Kimmy, did I view the impromptu video? Is Kimmy the one? Wait a minute. Is that the one with the glasses? If that's Kimmy, I don't look at other YouTuber videos, to be honest with you, and nothing pops up in my stream, to be honest with you, for his other people out here. Okay, yeah, life weekend. Okay, so what did she talk about last week? I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't have time to check out other YouTubers or notary YouTubers to see what they're talking about at all. So what, she did something on reverse mortgage? Oh, you was on a live? Cool. Know nothing about her. I'll be honest with. I just know that she does notary stuff. I think I see her from time to time on Facebook, which I'm not on there that often. So yeah, I couldn't tell you. But no, I didn't know anything about it. I mean, literally, I am not subscribed to any notaries out there. I think Bill Soroka probably be the only one, but I don't get nothing from anybody, to be honest with you. Okay, cool. Yeah, appreciate it. Matter of fact, I talked to Q today with a project. So Q is doing good, chilling with the family, out there kicking it, just reconnecting with his family. That's the main thing right now that he's doing. So he's having fun and all of that. So I'm happy for him. All right. So, like I said, I hear so much talk about people not liking reverse mortgages, and I just said, you know what? Let me see if I have one that I've used for training in the past, and pull that up, and let's see about just going through one. And I was going to pre-record the video and just let it run, but I figured y'all may have questions. So I figured, you know what? The best way to do this would be to just come on, go through it, and answer any questions. You know, if you got questions, throw them in the comment, and I'll be glad to answer the questions concerning reverse mortgages and all of that. That's the best way I can tell you, and then we'll just go through this. Some of the pages is not even worth looking at, and this one is 185 pages. I didn't take anything out, so we'll just go through. I changed the names, addresses, title numbers, and loan numbers, and all of that good stuff. And we got my man Frank here. Yeah, like he said, hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button and stuff. And I always forget to put my little banner up here to ask y'all to like, hit the like button. All right. So before we get started, are there any questions about reverse mortgages that y'all may have? If there are, go ahead on and throw them out there. Let me know, so I can have those in queue and then be answering them along the way. And y'all know how I be doing. As soon as I start getting on here and talking, my voice want to act up. And I don't drink tea and all that kind of stuff. I've been feeling good all day. All right, so I know many people are still going to be like, I'm not doing a reverse mortgage under no circumstance. More power to you. You just miss out on some money. It's that simple. Right now, the signing companies are throwing $125, sometimes $150 on doing them. How much reverse mortgages for direct? I honestly don't know. I've heard 200 or more, but I honestly don't know, because I haven't done any direct at all. So I got a reverse mortgage coming up this Tuesday, $125. I know most people be like, getting up. I'm just rolling with it because I'm gonna be in there with a actual reverse mortgage loan officer, and that may be an opportunity for me to make a connection and go direct. This company is somewhere else that contacted me. They found my name on a notary database, and they asked me, hey, can you go in there and knock this out for them? And I was like, sure. And we came up with a nice price. They was happy with it. I said, okay, let's roll with it. Already talked to the loan officer, and I think I'm just waiting on the documents to come. And that's pretty much it. And I got to check the email. They might have already sent them to me. I've been chilling this weekend. But with reverse mortgages, the main thing you need to know, and this is very, very important, they do reverse mortgage counseling. And with the reverse mortgage counseling, you need to understand that the signers already pretty much know what they're signing, why they're signing, and they've gone over it a couple of times with them. Now, when you're in there with a reverse mortgage loan officer, there's really nothing for you to say. There's nothing for you to say when you're in there with them one-on-one without the loan officer. And there's really nothing for you to say when the loan officer is there, because they take care of all of the explaining. They're just looking for you and me to come in there just to do our notary part in the story. So if you're thinking that I can't do a reverse mortgage because I don't know the documents, it is not required for you to know the documents. But if you are stuck on knowing the documents, then you do you. Okay, you do you, and you'll figure out that it might not necessarily be necessary for you to be trying to explain the document and everything. I'll ask as you go through the documents. All right, cool. What's going on, Dreams? Quilla. Me and her had a conversation a couple of days ago. She had her first order. I hope everything went well with it. And we did a document review, and she should be good to go. So she had her first one. She's a channel member, and she had her first one, and very proud of her. Notaries have to be very patient with the process, will go smoothly. Yeah, really just a bunch of signatures to watch on a reverse. That is correct. It is similar to a purchase agreement loan. Don't say nothing really, but there to witness signatures. That is correct. So we're gonna go ahead on and get popping on this here. All right. So this here's the reverse mortgage starting off. Oh, let me turn this music off. All right. All right. So with the indemnity gap agreement, it's just basically saying if there's any kind of liens or things of that nature that those folk, the people who are doing the loan, the reverse mortgage, will be responsible for. And if you read through this, it'll tell you exactly what it means. It means it just indemnifying the title company here from being liable for anything. So that's all it's doing. It's just saying that this entity here is not held liable for any shortages and things of that nature that might come up between between the signing and the time the document is getting recorded. That's all it means. Um, and they will have this here to sign. Now, here's the quirky part. All we're doing here is putting the date, you know, putting the date there in here, and then the year, 2, 3, and then they're sign their name and then print. Sign and print. Now, witnesses, you check based on your state. If there needs to be witnesses, then you have them. If it doesn't, then you don't worry about it. Do not line through this. Don't be doing all of this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Leave it blank, okay? Leave it as is, okay? On both of them. Then you do your state of, county, sworn and subscribed before me, this date. You put the date here. So, the 12th day, you know, of November, and then 2023, and then you put their names here, and then signer's name goes here, not the notary name, not the notary name at any time. Okay, your name doesn't go there. Down here we got notary signature. Okay, and whether or not, it doesn't matter whether this is here or not. If your state says you're to stamp it, you're to stamp it. In the story. Okay, so don't think that, oh, because I don't see that. No. Or it says signature, but it doesn't say notary in front of it or behind it, doesn't mean that the notary doesn't sign it. You know that when you come, all of this, oops, all of this is the notary's responsibility. We fill this out. Okay. We fill this out hands down all the time, anytime. Let me do I got my watermark. It's a little too dark there. All right. So, that's what you need to understand. This area here is our responsibility. So you fill this out in accordance with your state law. Okay. Hey, what's going on, Robin? Good to see you there. Thank you for hopping in. And glad you came and did not listen to YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. All right. Now, with the reverse mortgage, with the AAG one, you're going to see this. I hate this because you got to print this and you printing all that ink and for that red stop sign, which is going to be black, it's a pain, really a pain. And some people will print just these pages on a reduced toner level, so they're not eating up as much toner. And some people may not print these for the customer copy because they're just instructions for us. But you will read through this here, and like it says here, signatures must be signed exactly as name is printed online. If not pre-printed below the line, signed as printed on other documents. So that means if the signature, okay, so like this here, it's their name isn't printed here. They're going to print their own name. But when you go through the document, if you see that they have their name as Earl T. Jones, then they need to sign as Earl T. Jones. Okay. That's what they need to do. That's what this is saying. Okay. That's what this is saying. Must be consistent across all documents. So you can't have any variations. They're very, very particular. They don't want um they don't want variations of the signature. One time it's with a swoop and the next time it doesn't have a swoop. It got to be the same and or at least some kind of consistent across the whole thing. Then it says must be dated when the date is included. Okay. So let me come back to y'all for a second. When I do these here, all of them, I tell people, and thank you for hitting the like button and sharing. When I do these, I just simply say, if there's a date field, please date. And I have to remind them that a couple of times. If there's a date field, please date. It amazes me to no end how a person can see the date field after you've already told them they need to date it. And if they see a date field to date it, they'll ask you, do I date it? I don't know why. It doesn't make a lick of sense. That's one of the frustrating things. And this has nothing to do with reverse. This is with all of them. With all of the mortgages, I get this. Purchase, sales, refinance, HELOC. People will sit there and see a date field, and a lot of times they're refusing to sign it. They do not want to sign it, and I don't understand why. So, so just keep that in mind. Okay, keep that in mind. All right. So then it talks about rest of this stuff, the residential loan application. Be sure to add date to all signatures. Then it goes over some more stuff with the HUD, the security note, meaning the deed of mortgage and trust. And again, must match. Witness states, make sure you have witnesses. Notarize, notarize, notarize. Completely include the notary stamp. So they want you to also include the notary stamp. Some people do not do that. Okay. Right to counsel, appraisal reports. All right. Then this one here is going to be in here talking about the customer identification. Then it talks about the types of ID requirement they have. And then these made up names here I got. Then you got this here. And then you just fill this out accordingly. Um, Two forms of ID. I typically get the driver's license. And most of the time, it'll be, you know, if they don't have two of these, two primaries, then there'll be one primary and one from the secondary list. So typically it's the driver's license and then something down here. And most of the time most of the time they have the Medicaid or the Social Security. And question says here, Griff, are you doing a reverse application? Oh, this is the final. This is actually the final. I do have an application, but I figured I'd do the final because that's the one that a lot of people will come across more so than the application. So with the ID here, and then either this one or this one. Those comes most of the time what, but any one. Okay, all I'm doing is just getting one from here and then one from here. Okay, that's all I'm getting, and then I fill out this accordingly. There's no stamping. Um, no notary stamp. Okay. So there's no notary stamp. And then this here's for the other person. Same thing. You get, most of the time it's going to be, the driver's license stuff here. And then one of these down here. Anyone. Medicaid, Medicare, whatever insurance card they have. If they have a military ID, now I stay away from the military ID because, as always, they don't want us taking pictures of that. So I try not. But if you do have to take the military ID, make sure you contact the title company and let them know, because you can't send a picture. They don't want us doing that. All right. Again, your signature, printed names, certification number or notary commission number, date of the inspection of the IDs, your phone number, email address, which doesn't make sense because then it asks for your notary email. I just number and then email address. I don't put my email address on there twice. Closing instructions, that is not for us. This is instructions that goes to them, talks about all of the details of their loan. And keep in mind, they've already seen this, okay? And then I'm just pretty much flipping through this here. They don't even, I've never had a person say, hey, let me see that. And then this here says seller's agent, authorized representative. I'm not a seller's agent, settlement agent. So I've never signed this. Now, if you sign it, that's on you, but I've never had to sign it, never been told to sign it. Okay. And then we got the reverse mortgage, general closing instructions. I don't even know how many pages this is. That time they don't even number it. Let me back this down a little bit. And I don't cover this. There's nothing to cover with this here. Okay, sorry if I'm going too fast, but this is a bunch of stuff that just instructions. This has nothing to do with what we need to do as notaries. Um, this is for the closing agent. And then right there says closing agent. Oops. So that's for the closing agent, not us. They take care of that when they get it back. And all of that said, please return all closing documents within 24 hours of the loan. That's to them to do whatever. Privacy notice stuff talks about how they handle the person's privacy. Sometimes they would need to sign it, sometimes they don't. On here, it doesn't have them to sign it. Um, then the loan application. So now this is the loan application, which always will look different. Well, I won't say which so far has always looked different than the one we see with the normal mortgages. And so this, I guess you could consider this an old school one. So basically they will sign, and that's all I do. Look through here. And again, they've seen this, they reviewed it, and then I'm just looking through for signature spots for them. There's nothing to sign on that page. And then you got all of this stuff. Did your Chesapeake stuff for taxes. There's nothing to sign there. You got all of this questionnaire stuff. There's nothing to sign here. And you get here, and they got their signature and date. And it's weird because they got two dates here. It doesn't matter which one they date, just as long as it's dated. Signature and date. They got the, whatchamacallit thing here, the demographics. Now, this here is the loan originator. You don't sign it, I don't sign it, it stays blank. So nobody signs this. This is the loan originator. Okay. They don't sign inside of here. They sign down here. And yes, these boxes are as small as you see them. Okay. The boxes are small. So they get their signature in there, date, their signature in there, date. More instructions, more instructions. Again, demographic information. some more demographic information, and that's it for the loan application. And then you got the addendum to the loan application. And basically, whose ever name is here in this box signs this document. If it's only one person name, only one person signs it. Okay. Simple as that. So there's sign here and date, sign here and date. And then there's a second page. The person on the left hand side signs both spots, top and bottom. And then the same thing, date, and the person on the right hand side. That's it. Then there's a third page and a fourth page. I always look over these two pages very carefully because depending on who's putting this together, sometimes they will have a signature line, sometimes at the top or somewhere on here that they want signers to sign just to say that we saw this page. But typically, this is for, it says the underwriter, and then whoever this mortgage representative is and their title, all of that. That's for them. Financial assessment, for the reverse mortgage. I just go through here and look for signature spots. If there's a signature spot for them to sign, they will sign it. It's almost like the loan application. Sign, sign. That's it. Now, this is where it starts getting very, very repetitive. All they're doing is signing and then date. That's it. Hickam Home Equity Conversion Mortgage is another name for HELOC. I mean, reverse mortgage, not HELOC, for reverse mortgage. So it's called a home equity conversion mortgage. Sometimes you will hear them use that or call it Hickam instead of using reverse mortgage. And again, if you got any questions, feel free to stop me anytime. Throw your questions down there. I'm paying attention and I'll be more than happy to answer them. All right. So again, this here is the program options. Talks about what they got. So apparently they got a fixed lump sum, single disbursement, lump sum payment. So whatever, how much they're getting it all one at one time. And then I guess these are different product types. Here's an arm and all of that kind of stuff. And then they will sign, date, sign, date. Then this here's the comparison for the reverse mortgage, showing them whatever they need to see, which again, they going over all of this. And then they sign, date. That's it. Home equity conversion mortgage. That's what the Hickam stands for. And then their total annual costs. They've already covered this, but they can look it over if they want. Honestly, I've never had anybody do this at all. And then they sign, date. So as y'all see, this is pretty easy. This is very, very simple. Pre-screen closing. They sign, date, sign, date. The home equity conversion mortgage adjustable rate loan agreement. All of these different factors in here that they can read over if they want, but they've gone over it through counseling. This is however many pages it is. All right. And then they sign and date. Okay. Now this here, if you operating in the right frame of mind at the time you're doing this, you will realize this is not for you. You're not American Advisors Group. So you don't sign, you don't have to put your printer name and your title, any of that. That is not for you. Okay. Not the notary. All right, not the notary. This is not us. Okay, leave it alone. Servicing transfer, just saying that they might transfer the loan to a different organization. It says here's the current one, here's the new one. and then they sign and date. Okay. And then this here's their HUD 1, which is one of the questions on the NNA's test. So here's their HUD 1. And then they can look through here. Total payout for borrower. I guess they're getting this amount here. Yeah, like the total paid for the borrower, or I guess given out to them. I guess gross amount due from borrower. I don't know, but that's what it is. And if you want to take Bill Soroka and them, they do some reverse mortgage training. If you feel you need to really know all of this, take that training, and you should be good to go. And then I just go to the last page, sign, and then date. Okay. He said, I don't do reverse mortgage because I've done two and each was 250 pages. No, thank you. Well, this one's only 185. I'm serious. This is only 185. Um, yeah. So okay, so she was asking you, can you do something for New York? All right. Um, then again, what is this here? This is the payment plan, however they plan on paying or whatever the case may be. They sign and date. Now, I mean, I don't see how anybody can think this is difficult. Now, I know a lot of people have issues with the number of pages. I got that, but I've done them where it was over 300 pages, but in that 300 pages, a portion of it, it was like their copy and what they needed to sign was all in one. So I only had to print one copy because their copy was like a scaled down version of what they were signing. Um, just what they, I guess, what they consider critical documents. And it might have been 110 pages um, for them, and then 200 and something for to be signed and sent back. I haven't seen it like that in a while. I've done them as small as 120 some. Um, so matter of fact, I think the last one I just did last Friday was like 100, or last Thursday, 117 pages. So not all of them are 200 pages. It depends on who's doing it, and I guess the terms and conditions. But this is how simple it is. This is again AAG. Um, I haven't had any problems with them. Again, they just sign and date. And if you're not having to explain stuff, you just drop in documents in front of them. They sign and date. Now if it says NA, that means they don't sign it. Okay, NA, they don't sign it. All this power of attorney, all of that, you leave it alone. Leave it alone. Verification of occupancy, they sign, and then they date. Okay. This here's the note, adjustable rate note. And this is several pages. Um, like the promissory note this year. So they will sign it and then date. And then they have a second note in there. Okay, they have two notes. And then they will sign the second one and date. And this part is what really makes it large. Okay. I mean, documents in general, but I understand. I'm looking at the reverse mortgage I did, and so far everything seems the same across the board. I'm located in California. All right, cool. It said notaries don't let the pages, half the pages are borrowers copies. A lot of times, yeah, depending on who's doing them and how they roll, yes, half could be the borrower's page. And I have had a 300 page one where I had to print it out twice. Everything. How do we know what order goes? Well, they will tell you normally. How do we know what order it goes Well, how it came is how you send it back. You don't have to do all this critical documents, pulling stuff up. The stuff that you leave with them is you leave it with them. You don't scan that back. You scan it in the order that you got it. That's all. There's none of this shuffling and shifting around, putting this document first and that. If you get it where it's their copy and the sign and the copy they need to sign all in one document, normally they will have a paper in there that says customer's copy. And everything from customer's copy back from that paper back is what you give to them. So you print the whole thing out, then you separate it, boom. And you could easily just print from page one through that spot, and then you print the rest and everything. If I can recall when doing them, there's only two, three. Well, you haven't seen me notarize nothing. This one has more than two or three, but you haven't seen me notarize anything as of well, one in the beginning. Okay, so far I've done one. Now this is the deed of trust. It's two copies of that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 pages of stuff to read. If there's witnesses, you use them. If there's not, you don't. So you don't have to, especially if the properties in Florida or some other state go accordingly in accordance with your state law also. They sign and then they date. Okay. Then the notary does their part, you know. So in this case, I was in Chesapeake. And then I'm doing my signature. And then my commission expires. I'm just throwing some numbers in there. And then registration number, boom, boom, boom. And then I'm going to put my seal. Okay. That's all I'm going to do. That's it. Make sure you read through your notarial acknowledgement to make sure it's in accordance with your state laws. And then got the exhibit A. Exhibit A. And sometimes they might need to know when they purchased the property, and exhibit A sometimes will have it when they first purchased the property. It'll have it, on there. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. Then you go through second adjustable rate, deed of trust. So I'm just tab through this real quick. And then the same thing. They sign, date, and then you do your thing. Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, this is different. Hold on. I think something was different. Okay, I don't know why I was thinking something different. No, we good. And then you do your part, and then you stamp the document accordingly, and all of that. Exhibit A again, a lounge. That is not us. That is for them. We don't mess with that. It is for those folk there. Okay. It is for those folk there. All right. Then write the council. Y'all know what to do here. They sign where their name is at, and they got 3 copies each. That's number 2 for him, number 3 for him, and then 1, boom. And they sign all 3. I'm just not going to do all 3 of them here. Boom, boom. All right. Then they got this disclosure, truth and lending statement. And again, any questions you got, throw them in the chat. Okay. And however many pages this is, let me just sort of tab down through. And then they just sign their name, boom, boom, and boom. All right. I have done a reverse mortgage that was in a trust. They have to sign it. Well, that company told them to sign with all the trust verbiage and everything. Um, and it was just one person signing, so we got it done. And if they had to sign with the trust verbiage, they need to like start up here and do all this stuff and all of that to get it in here. If you're talking about signing trust verbiage in here, it's gonna be tight. It's gonna be real tight, and I ain't gonna lie to you. You might have to go and do the old edit the PDF. I like that and drop that bad boy down some to give them some space. Okay. You may have to do that. You may have to do that to give them some space so that they can fit all of that trustee verbiage in here and stuff. It says I'm a loan sign agent full time. I do everything but reverse mortgages and stuff. And then you got here 4506C tax form for that individual, their assigned date. Look, if there's nobody here and if the block 2A is empty, no, the spouse does not sign it. It's that simple. If the block 2A is empty, the spouse does not sign it. And then they had a couple in here for him. I go to my edit pin. And then they got a couple in here for her. So they had two for him. And then they had one, two for her. Okay. They had two for her. Why? I don't know. That's the way they did. Taxpayer consent form. They read this and then they sign and date. Okay. They have two copies that they in their pack. That's the weird thing because some people tell me no, they want them to sign all three copies that are in the package that they're signing. And then there are two packs. There's two for them to sign in there's two there's three copies in there. So it and this is I've been trying to find an answer for this. Hold on, let me come back to y'all real quick. Okay. I've been trying to get a solid answer on this for like 2 years. And the companies have been giving me different answers. Some say just have them sign one and then they sign all three and then they keep two that sign and just send us back one. Then other companies have been telling me just send all of them back. So far, everybody's been telling me to send them all back. Whatever they tell you to do, you do. Okay. What up, Q? Whatever they tell you to do, you do. But they could sign the copy if they got three copies. All they got to do is send back one. They could sign the one copy that's in the loan packet with them that she left behind. So that's the part that never made sense is that you want them to sign stuff over here, and then you want them to be given some signed what they just signed. I don't know. And I've been trying to get a straight answer, and none of the title companies have been able to give me a solid answer as to why they want it done the way they want. So if they tell me in the instructions, have them sign it and then leave two copies, then I do that. So whatever the instructions say, that's what I do. If their instructions doesn't, if they don't give me any guidance in their instructions, I just go with best practices. And so far I have not had anybody um saying anything to me about it. I'll be honest, I haven't. And so and like Wanda saying to my fellow notaries, whether you like it or not, do the reverse mortgage to gain knowledge and experience. Because you never know what other loan products these You never know what loan products they have, that the other loan products they may be doing, or what connections they may have. So you have to be careful of that. Then it says, I will take them if they come. I need the experience and I want it. Yeah. Um, Notaries got the game backwards, learning to the folks, listening to the folks in Clubhouse, Instagram. Yeah, yeah, that right now has become a big problem because people have actually contacted me and said that they're getting tired of Clubhouse and they're realizing that the information coming from people in Clubhouse is just really self-serving and stuff. I agree with Griff, but I do that what majority um keep one and leave two copies best practice. Yeah, again, whatever they tell you to do with that is not something that you're notarizing. They have a copy. They got all two or three copies in their stack. So I don't understand and everything. I don't understand. All right, so let me go back over here. Yeah, Clubhouse. Yeah, it's getting raunchy out there. People there's some good rooms out there, and then some people are just they're just struggling. They're just doing whatever they can to get somebody to come on the platform and to listen to them talk. And honestly, some people just really aren't seeing much of anything. And people may not like what I'm saying, but there's just some people that they don't know how to hold an audience and hold a room. Um, Especially when you have notaries out there who are barely doing the business, trying to run stuff, whether it's on YouTube, TikTok, or whatever, they're trying to talk like they are big time in the business and they're nowhere near that because they don't have any experience and they haven't done anything. So it's just a bunch of mess. Is there okay? I thought we should give a copy of all the we do give a copy of all the documents, but what they're talking about, Dream, is you give them a full copy of everything that they're signing, which includes the right to cancel. But then some companies want you out of the copy that you have them sign, not the one you're giving them, but the one you have them sign. Then they're saying they want you to have them sign two out of the three. They want you to have them sign all three copies and then leave two with them. So now they have five. Here's one of the other issues with that. Let me come back to y'all real quick. And this is a great question. Here's one of the issues with that. Sometimes they only give you two copies. And then here's the other thing. They will sit there and say, you'll have a right to cancel that has both the husband and the wife name on there, or two or both buyers or whoever on the document. And then they want you to give him two copies and her two copies. So they want them to sign and they only give you two. So that means you got to print much more. So now you got to print two extra copies to make sure he has a sign. And it's silly. It is silly. Okay. It is very, very silly. Very silly. Okay. Yeah. And she said she no longer saw the back. Yeah. Yeah, I'm backing down. I'm only going on certain times and certain ones, depending on what they say. And what I'm finding out, people they still even when they're giving out good information, sometimes the people who are listening don't even they won't even try. They won't even try. Okay. All right. So back here, so taxpayer consent form, mailing address affidavit. There's nothing to sign there. Insurance options. There's nothing to sign there for them. That's the post closing people. Name affidavit. They want them to sign saying that, yep, they recognize that these are names, dot, dot, dot. So they'll sign. Boom, boom. signature affidavit for both of them. And this is weird because the signature thing is for both of them. It's not two separate, individual pages. So boom, boom, and then you do your part here, Virginia, and then Chesapeake. Now, again, if you plan on hand typing stuff in here, and I'm only typing it in here because I don't feel like trying to write, my handwriting ain't good with this here. Just handwrite, fill this out, okay? Because some companies aren't cool with you doing that, especially if it's already pre-printed in there. If you want to be adding stuff and just check with them, but I don't pre-type stuff in here because that just takes too long for me. And I type 45, 50 words a minute. I can type faster than most people. But I don't do it. Then you do the date, and then before me, and in this case with this blank line here, that's you. This here, notary name. Okay, now because this line is so short, what I end up doing is up here. I print my name up here like that. Okay, that's what I do. All right. So that's what I do. I just I just handwrite my name, up here at the top, and then here. And then you're going to write their name in there. Signer's name. Okay. Got to put my fingers on the right keys, not the notary name. Then boom. So in this case, so right here, it's talking about what state. If this is says under penalty of perjury for the state of whoever, if it's not your state, line through, initial, and then put the proper state. No, we know it ain't gonna be California. We'll put MD because California has their own notarial certificate, and they wouldn't even use this in the first place. And then they sign it, boom, and keep it going. Oh, my bad. And stamp. Okay. Okay, you stamp. Notice the borrower. This home equity conversion was insured on. Most of the time, they already know this date, so they'll fill that in. They can reach out to the title company to get that date. And some title companies have told me just to leave it blank and they'll fill it in. So you just check with them to find out how they want to do that. Okay. And then this is, oh, that's right. That's right. They changed it. With this one, I don't mess with it because this is for the HUD people to sign. Sometimes the signers may know the date and they can put it, but most of the time, they've already been told just to leave this blank. Just see, because see, this is where I get it confused because with the refinances, they have this same document, the same similar document with that same question, but the signers have to sign it. And this one, I keep forgetting that the reverse mortgage, they have the HUD representative do that, so they don't even have to mess with that. So you can just leave that. Okay, what are you talking about, Wanda? Griff, you don't put Notary Public after your name for what? For what? For what? Are you talking about here? You talking about here? Talking about sign my name and then write Notary Public? Notary Public is in my stamp. Now, if they have a line there that says title, okay, I'll put that. But if it doesn't, I'm giving the document what it's asking for. Now, for California, y'all may be told to do that because California is always is telling people to do stuff that other states don't. So if you're saying do I put Notary Public? I just sign my name here. Right. And see, that's the thing. And see that's and there's a lot of people that's like telling folk to do so. I'm not saying you or Wanda are, but there are before me, apprentice. Okay, up here. Sometimes I've seen that and sometimes I haven't. I've seen it. I'll be honest, I have and I have not. Um, but no, up here, no, I don't put no. I just it says before me. I mean, they sort of know who I am before me, and then I'm signing down here, and my stamp is on there. So I mean, this is the last notarization that I did, Wanda. This one. So from what? Okay. So my thing is this. If they want me to do that, then I will. And there sometimes it will say, before me, and it'll say underneath there, my name and title. And if it says my name and title, then I put my name and title. I have never had anybody kick this back saying, up here, you need to put title. Now, have I had it where sometimes they'll have title where down here they'll have title and they want me to put it here, even though my title is on my stamp, they still want me to put my title here. Okay, fine, fine. And then in this case, there are some people that have tripped, in my opinion, tripped out on me. So most of the time, so sometimes I just put notary. And I've had people say, "Oh no, you got to put notary public." It's on my stamp. It's on my stamp. Right. And like Caprentice is saying, that's a California requirement. So this is one of the biggest problems we have in our industry right now is that a lot of people are constantly trying to make sure that people in other states, and not saying that this is what y'all are doing. I know y'all not doing this, but there's other people, and this is part of the problem that's on TikTok, Instagram, and Clubhouse, is that you have people who are constantly harping on how notaries should do stuff based on the fact that this is what they do in their state. Okay. In their state, they do it this way. So then they're asking you to come to them for mentorship. And hold on, let me come back to y'all. They're asking you to come to them for mentorship and all of this. And it's like, okay, but then you're teaching me based off of your notary laws and the way you do things in your state. I've always said this. People teach you based off of what they know and out of their experience. That's what I'm doing. Okay. But the difference is I'm willing to be corrected. Some of them aren't. And they're adamant that you have to do it their way. Okay. They're adamant that they want to say you have to be considered a certified this and all that. And your state doesn't even call you a loan signing agent. I heard was told that in North Carolina, they're not allowed to call themselves that. So you got somebody telling you to be a loan signing agent and you're in North Carolina and your state doesn't recognize that. You get what I'm saying? And this is where the fallacy with what we're doing is because people are unwilling to understand what's going on in another state. They just want you to come to them because they feel all special and they feel all, hey, I've done this and I've done that. And it's like, nah, leave me alone. Let me do my thing the way I'm supposed to do it. Give me some encouragement and all of that. But some of the stuff they're teaching out here will really interfere and get you messed up. And that's why a lot of people have not really done anything in this business. Even though it's on your stamp, it's a good. The question then becomes, why is it a good idea? I mean, seriously, because why is it a good idea? That there's a lot of stuff that's a good idea because California says staple your acknowledgement, but other states don't. And I called the NNA and asked them, why y'all keep telling people that they have to staple their acknowledgement to the document that is for? And they told me straight up, well, that's what California tells us to do. You see what I'm saying? Okay, yes, it's a requirement in California, but the NNA across the board should come into one compliance from state to state. Look, I get that, and that's why a lot of people say when you talk to the NNA, you got to ask them the question the right way, because if you don't, they base it off of California laws a lot of times for what they told me. So you ask them, and I tell my, and when I asked them about the stapling, they said, well, that's the thing. They said, yeah, that's what you need to do. And I said, but I never heard that in Virginia. Oh, Virginia doesn't require you to do that. So they was quick to tell me that Virginia doesn't require me to do it. But yet at the same time, before I said I was from Virginia, which they could see, they were saying yes. They were, oh yeah, 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 you should do that. Why? And then here's the other thing. The lenders may not want that because now they gotta, and see, here's the thing, when do you staple it? Because if you got to do a scan back, are you going to staple it at the signing table, then get home, take it out, trying not to rip it, scan it, and then staple it again, which means you know doggone well there's a 5,000% chance of you stapling it in the same exact spot, and you're not. So now you got two staple holes on the document. This is the part that doesn't make sense to me. I don't think California understands that y'all have to scan back sometimes. So you staple, you can't leave the table until you, and then you get home, and then you have to pull it out. The document now looks beat up. Right. See, thank you. And see, this is another problem we have. And I will get back to the reverse mortgage people, but this is very important. See, there's a lack of clarification as to when this is pertinent. When is it pertinent? For loan closings or for GNW? First time I ever heard this. Thank you, man, because I had never heard that from anybody. And I've talked about this a couple of times. And a matter of fact, I don't even think you was around when I talked about it. So I know you would have said something. But this is what I'm talking about. And this is why it's so important for you to ask questions of people who are telling you to do things. That's why I'm fine with y'all asking me questions. I tell y'all all the time, ask me questions. What do you need to know? If I'm saying something wrong, I say stuff. If I get corrected, then that means what? We're all corrected because now we know the truth of the matter. Right. You need to learn your respective notary laws. And then, right, just like out here in Maryland, we're not called loan signing agents, we're typics. And see, here's the thing with the typic thing. I've gone over that and I've shown people in Maryland law, it says that as if there is someone else to do the title insurance aspect of that closing, and when is the title insurance going to be dealt with? During a refinance and a purchase, not during the sale of a house. If you're selling a house, the seller has nothing to does not do anything with title insurance. So if you're selling a house, you don't deal with title insurance because you're getting rid of the house. But if you're buying it or refinancing it, there's a possibility there's going to be title insurance. And Maryland law that I read from the NNA, what they had up there, and again, I could be wrong if it's been updated, that if you are not, as the notary, are not explaining or doing anything with the title insurance because there's someone else there to do it, then you don't need a tip license. But if you are the one that's going to be doing it, then you need a tip license. And that's the aspect that a lot of people tend to just conveniently forget and don't mention. I'm a Virginia notary. I just went and read the stuff and found out, oh, okay, so that's what it says. So it's not necessarily mandatory that you have it unless you're going to be in a position where you're going to be doing title stuff. So let's just say if you're working with somebody where you're constantly doing the seller side of it. If you're doing the seller side, then why are you pushing people to get a tip license to do the seller side? Unless there's some reason there's title insurance with the seller side. If it is, okay, that's news to me. But I'm asking y'all to please read your Maryland state law concerning the notary signing agent aspect that it says. Because there's some people that's going around saying that the moment you get that tip license, you are now a certified loan signing agent. And they say it with such conviction. And I'm sitting here like, I ain't even a Maryland notary. I know doggone well that ain't the case. But they're like, well, you're just a notary. And when you read the Maryland law, and I'm a half a second from even pulling it up from the NNA. If you go to the NNA, if you have an account with them, and everybody who has an account can go in there and look at the US reference for the state of Maryland, and then type in to search and get to it quickly, notary signing agent. And when you get there, boom. But it also says if you're not taking money, you don't have to have it. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. If you're taking money, okay, if you are in that position, then you have to have it. But here's the thing, what if you're doing closings and they don't want the notary to take the money, and they have no requirement for you to take the money because they've already wired it? If they've already wired it, then then you see what I'm saying? I'm telling y'all, you got to look at the law because a lot of people just think, okay, I just got to have it just to have it. And a lot of people are stressing out, like, oh, I ain't got it. Once I get it, and there's nothing wrong with having it. But my issue is people who do have it act like they're the god and goddesses of loan closings in the state of Maryland just because they got this tip license. Like that puts them above everybody. And a lot of the people who are here with it, they're very haughty. They talk, not you, Robin, but a lot of other people, they're very, very stuck up and uppity over the fact that they got a tip license. But here's the thing, you can get a tip license as a title person working in a title office and never become a notary. So if you are a notary collecting funds, doing title stuff, state of Maryland says you need a tip license. If you're a notary not collecting funds because somebody else is doing it, you don't need one. And I'm putting this out there. So if I'm wrong, I've yet to have a Maryland notary who has a tip or no tip come back and tell me that I'm incorrect because they haven't looked it up for themselves. And I don't understand why not. And I've talked about this many times in Clubhouse, but nobody won't go out there and look at it for themselves. They're just like, well, this person who trained me and this person, and they said, and the title company that I went to, that's what they want. Okay, I get that. But again, what does the law say? What does the law say? If the law says this, then that's what you're supposed to be going by, not just what they just told me I need to do it. Okay. So I get what you're saying, Robin. I 100% do. But from what I saw in the law, just like with Virginia says we have to have a license in order to do this. And if we don't have a license, we don't touch the money, period. And it doesn't go as in detail about whether we're, whether somebody's there or not. We ain't got the money. I mean, the license, we don't touch the money. no matter who's there, period. That's what they told us. Right. Notice the borrower. So we saw that. And that there is the HUD representative. Compliance agreement, just saying you agree to comply with any request for information, or they do from them. And then, they sign, boom, date. And then see here, it says a notary public in and for the state of such and such. So my thing is this. Let me come back to y'all real quick. My thing is this. There's a lot of there's a lot of inconsistencies in the notarial certificates that we see. So if you are a person who wants to keep it to where you put your name and all that, then use your own certificate. There's nothing that says we have to use their notary certificates. You can use your own. So we saw one that didn't have that, had the same layout on before me, and then it says a notary public, and then one that doesn't. I just roll with what the document has. I give the document what it's asking for. That's what I always share with y'all. Give the document what it's asking for. Not saying that it's right or wrong. Now, if you want to give the document more, then cool. You can give them more, but you don't have to give them more than what they ask for. Okay. Mm, okay, there we go. So, and then we do that. Okay. Mortgage certificate, that's signed by them. The signers don't sign this, they just have their name up there. And then home equity conversion disclosure for third parties. They sign, boom, and boom. Lump sum, boom, they sign, they do that thing there. Same thing with this here annuity certificate. There is no governing body. That's the thing. There is no governing body overall. The governing body is your state. That who governs us, the state. That's crazy. I don't know why it's required here. My instructor is on the board for that regulates the laws. We can get in trouble for doing closings without having it. And again, go by the law. Um, Let you know what? Hold on for a second, y'all. Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. That okay. Just so my lady Robin can see. Okay. And again, if I'm incorrect in this, then again, I'm fine with that. I'm incorrect. I, I need to fix it, whatever the case may be. So let me, all right. So we're here in the NNA, my NNA. I click on my NNA, and then I normally how I get to it is I click on notary certificates, and which show, gives you the certificates for all the states. And then I click on this right here. Oh, my bad. It says US notary reference. And then scroll down and I click on Maryland. And then I search for notary signing. Oops, my bad, my bad. That's not the right search. Where's this search at? Okay, don't worry. I remember how I found it. I just click Control F. Notary signing. All right. So notary signing agent. All right. Real estate practices. Okay. All right. So real estate practices. Okay. It says here a notary may not render services which may result in the issuance of a title insurance contract, such as services may only be performed by a licensed title insurance producer. Okay. But it says here, in accordance with sorry about that, with Maryland Insurance Administration, the MIA, a notary who merely attends, let me get all the way down here so y'all can see this. Let me zoom in just a touch. A notary who merely attends a real estate closing or settlement that is conducted by another person or entity and who merely witness signatures in consideration for the statutory fees, that notary is to permitted to charge and does not, in the view of the MIA, fall within the scope of the insurance. And then it says, and is not required to secure a title producer license in order to perform such services. Now, here's my question. If your daggone law, and this ain't to you, meaning like this to you, Robin, but I'm like, if the daggone law says, if you are not in this position where you are issuing the title insurance stuff, policy, collecting money, you do not need the title producer license. I'm not saying, and you're welcome very much, Johanna. I'm not saying don't get the license. I'm just saying make sure you understand your state laws. That's all I'm saying. Make sure you understand your state laws. That's it. Just make sure you understand your state laws because it says here, it says however, if a notary is the only individual, it's telling you right here. However, if the notary is the only individual other than the buyer, and it's talking about purchases, this is why I'm saying, think about it. It's talking about purchasing. You purchase title insurance. You don't sell title insurance when you're selling a house. So when a person is purchasing a house and you and that person are the only ones present at the closing, it says the notary is presenting documents for signature, which may result in the issuance of title insurance, collecting escrow funds, or otherwise performing any other duty than witnessing of a signature. The notary must be licensed as a title insurance producer. My question is, how is that not clear? It's telling us if you're in Maryland, this is how they roll. But everybody else is sitting there saying, no, you just got to have it. You just got to have it. Why? Is that because so the state can get more money? Is this a money grab for the state? Again, I'm not saying don't. So my question to you, Robin, and anybody else who's a Maryland notary right now, seeing this, what does that tell you? That's Maryland law, not Virginia, not anybody else. That's what it says for Maryland. So unless that has changed, and it could be, if it has changed from that, then I stand corrected. But I'm just trying to get to the point of making sure that we doing things right. That's it. We're doing things right. Okay. Yeah. So if because let's just say, just like we got Oswald who doesn't do reverse mortgages. What if you say, well, I'm never doing a on purchase? And let's just say you get offered to do purchases and you say, I don't want to do it. Do you have to have a license to do a seller's? If somebody is selling the property and you only work on the seller side, and you probably can market yourself that way as a notary, that you only work with the people who are selling houses, how in the world can you be forced to get a title producer license for aspect of the business that you're never going to do? And if you do have to do it and it's just you, then that means you can't do it. So you could say, well, will there be another person there who does the title side? Yeah, it will be. Okay, I'll take the order. Now, if the company who wants to hire you requires it, you see what I'm saying? If the company that wants to hire you does that, then it's nothing too much you can do about that. It is what it is. Okay. It's that simple. It is what it is. All right. So where is my okay? And then it goes on lender certification. That's for them to sign. Tax and insurance thing. That's for them to sign and date. Now let's go back here. Let's go back here. This here throws a lot of notaries off. When they see that word right there, acknowledged by, when they see that, when they see acknowledged by, they think, oh, that's an acknowledgement. Then they trying to stamp it. All this is saying is that that person has acknowledged by signing it, they're acknowledging that they read it and they agree with it. If there's no notarial certificate here, then you don't need to worry about notarizing it. But some notaries will start panicking, and because they see acknowledged by, oh, that's an acknowledgement. No, it is not. This is not an acknowledgement. Okay. This is not. And if you're really concerned, then you contact the company and ask them, do you want me to do an acknowledgement on this page here? Why are you asking, notary? Well, it says acknowledgement right there. No, no, we good. Okay. That's gonna be on you. Disbursement confirmation. That is not us. US Patriot Act. They sign it and date. Lead-based paint. They sign a date now with them. Yes, this is a very tiny spot. And they are very particular because they don't want them signing below. They want them signing here. So they sign as best they can in that spot. It is what it is. I'm just telling you up front. If you have them sign below, they may kick it back. And then this is electronic funds, how they want to receive money. If they want to get it mailed or electronic, if they want electronic, then they will say which one of those, fill out all of that, and then sign. If they want it via mail, they typically would just check here or X, doesn't matter, and then they will sign this, and that's it. Okay. So this signature is for that. And this, all right, there we go. And this is for that down there. Okay. Put it for this area down here. And then most companies want to check paperclip. I've been told by companies they don't want it stapled, okay, or taped. Then this is Social Security Administration. They sign and date. Another one for the other person, sign and date. All right, you see, signature, date. This is only initial if there's a number here. If there's no number here, or if they decide they want to put a number here, then they need to initial. If they don't put anything here or nothing's already there, they don't fill that out. Yes, there are some signing companies, not the title company, not the lender. Well, let me come back to y'all for a sec. Not the title company or the lender. There are some signing companies that will make you go back and have them put some kind of number in here and sign this. But if you read this, it tells you they don't have to do that. But some signing companies, and I'm saying it that way for a reason, because It's the signing company that said, "Oh no, we need that filled out." Why? Because it's a blank line. And some people have been programmed that anytime there's a blank, you got to fill it out. Period. Okay. Unfortunately. So that's what's going on. Okay. That's what's going on. So you will see that from time to time. Okay. Let me get back here. Signature and date. Then this is we fill out. Now I've gone over this with y'all and I'm gonna go over it again. Okay. Do not put your notary seal here. Okay. This is for you to fill out. Okay. This is for you to fill out. Do not put your notary seal here because you will be considered notarizing your own signature and there is no notarial acknowledgement on here or jurat. Okay. This document simply says that you certify that the above stated, the identification stated above was presented to you. You sign it, you date it, you do not put your stamp here. And the NNA, and I have to sort of agree with them on this, they said putting your stamp there and lining through it does not invalidate it. It does not mean that it's no longer valid. Okay. And then it says improperly notarizing a document is a violation of state law. Any occurrences will be reported to the appropriate authorities. Somebody just talked to me about it. I didn't even realize. So that means, so if it's improper notarizations that can get you in trouble, then why would you stamp this? Why? Why would you do that? You don't do that. And then you put in your insurance information and all of that. And you fill this out up here. Okay. Identity document. And it got two of them. One for him, one for her. And then on here, borrower's affidavit, state, and then thing. And what was weird was that, yeah, and it is like this. They didn't have a signature line, so I just drew one and signed it. Okay. Gap identity, boom, same thing. Didn't have a signature line, you just sign it. Or you can add a notarial certificate, whichever one you want to do. And then this one had a notarial certificate. They both sign it. You fill it out. Now this one here, just let's cover this one. This here is basically saying before me, a notary public, on this day personally appeared, known to me, or proven to me by oath of, and the name of the person who gave the oath. In other words, this here is for credible witness. Okay. This is about credible witness and whoever that credible witness is. Okay. You don't say by oath of credible witness. So basically, you would, John Smith. And if you need two, then you'll be Ann Earl Jones. You will put the names of the people who did the oath, on their oath that they swore to you via credible witness. Okay. And then you fill out the rest. Any questions? Any questions whatsoever? And then they sign. And again, it says agreed and acknowledged. Does not mean you put a notarial certificate there. This here is a notarial certificate. Has nothing to do with that. They want those signatures notarized, so it's on here. But if this certificate wasn't there and you saw this agreed and all of that, does not mean that you do what? Does not mean you go and just slap a stamp on there just to be doing it. Again, same thing here. Tells you print your name, all of that. You can tell, you can see the notarial certificates are coming in various different flavors. Okay. So this is why you got to have your head on a swivel and know what the heck you're doing, because some of the notarial certificates were really plain. Some was already pretty much filled out, and then you just signed it. And then others, you got to do a lot more filling out. And this is what you get over and over again right now in this section here. They sign, and these are title documents, and this is the way the title is doing it. So this is why it's important sometimes for you to prep your documents. And then this is wire transfer. Another one, they have two wire transfer forms in here. They fill all of this out. And then they sign it. And then acknowledgement for that document. And then they got some privacy notice stuff. Let me drop this down a little bit. Privacy notice stuff again. They already had one in there, the second one. Then here's a payoff. They sign it. And they did not have her name on there, so you have to add her name on there. Because you can see her name was in the notarial certificate, so it's clear they made a little small mistake. You would print the name underneath there, or they could print it and then you sign. You fill out the notarial certificate accordingly, and you keep it going. This here's some kind of something, receipt or whatever. I'm not sure, but there's nothing for them to sign on there. Nothing for them to sign on this. There's more instructions, pay off loan instructions. If there's kind of refund checks made payable to some other individuals, then you will put their address and all of that there. They sign here, social, and that's it. No, almost done. Almost done. My bad. And then attention, doom, 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 borrower, account number, thank you for the cooperation. And then they both sign here. And then that indemnity gap thing that we saw earlier, that popped back up, and we fill that out again. And that document again, another HUD-1 statement. They sign that, and that's it. That is it. So again, I don't know why people are fearful of reverse mortgages. I I think they're simple. Now, again, it's your choice. If you just don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. Nobody is saying that you have to. But when things get tight and that's the only option that you have, you got to make a decision for your business. Are you going to do them and make money or not? And don't make money. And if you don't want to do them, you don't have to. But I just wanted to put this out here so that people can actually say, okay, well, let me see if this what's the status on this here. Let me see what this is all about. That's all. You either roll with it or you don't. If you don't want to roll with it, you don't have to. But you just, I mean, just as long as you are okay with it, then you be good. Be good. So, are there any other questions about reverse mortgages or anything? Robin, I hope I was able to help you understand something about Maryland. Again, I think it's a valid question. You, as a notary, you can't just go with what people say. You have to question and find out what does the law say you can do. Because remember, people like to control notaries, and they will do whatever they can and say it however they can to have and maintain control over us, to get us to do things the way they want them to be done for their own purpose. And there are a lot of people out there who have no clue as to what state law says at all. They have no clue. Everything. Okay. And I know Oswald, he's never going to do reverse mortgages, and that's fine. But my thing is this, and he's never been one. He said tells people that's just what he does. But there's some people out there that do their best to tell notaries not to do them, and they make them they make them afraid of doing them. Like if they do them, they're going to jail. And I'm trying to figure out how can you mess this up? They've already been counseled. They know what they're doing. If you ask them to sign the way their name is printed on there, they're going to do that. I haven't come across anybody who wouldn't. I mean, they follow instructions way better than the younger people doing purchases and refis and sales. The people who are younger, like, but this is the way I sign. This little crazy scribble stuff. Okay. They want you to sign your name exactly. Well, I don't do it that way. That ain't my official signature. None of us have an official signature because if you're right-handed and you sign such and such way, and then all of a sudden your fingers start acting up or you break your hand, guess what? You got to sign with your left hand, and that signature is just as good because the notary dealt and witnessed it and all of that. Well, the primer is good, but you need to also know your state laws because the primer is nothing but a watered down version of your state laws. Case in point, in Virginia, it says in the primer, it says that a notary that as a notary, we're not allowed to basically explain, draft, or prepare a document that requires a notarization. That's what it says in the primer. But in the Code of Virginia, we have what is called the Code of Virginia. It goes a step further and says unless you're duly qualified. So if you are qualified in a particular arena of law concerning that document, you are allowed to do so. But the NNA primer left out that whole part, and it gives a totally different perspective of that particular law for Virginia that deals with notaries. So I'm not qualified to do it, so I'm not going to. But there may be somebody who is qualified to explain the document or prepare a document or what have you. And if they're and it says if you're qualified and trained in that arena, this doesn't apply to you. But the primer doesn't say that. So the primer left that all the way out. When you prep your documents, do you type them out or just place markers? When you say type out what? I don't I don't change the document for us typing in their name, their date, none of that. I don't do that. Um, I don't do that at all. And some companies don't want you doing that. They don't want you going in there typing and putting your the data in or the state and city and all that kind of stuff. Or if they have, let's say you're in Houston, Texas, and they have the documents for Irvine, California as the venue, they don't want you going in there and taking out that because they tell you in a lot of times in your instruction, just line through, initial, and print the correct date. That's what they expect us to do. I do know notaries will just say, I don't care, I'm gonna do it this way. And the companies that you work with may be fine with that. They may be fine with that, then you go with it. But to say that it's something that every notary should do, only thing I say is just ask the person who's giving you the document. Do they want you to do that kind of stuff? If they say yes, then you do it. If they say no, then you don't. This is when it comes to what you do to the documents, to me, that should never be asked to another notary. It should be asked to the people who are paying you. If you're not asking the person who's paying you, hey, can I do this to the document? Can I open it up in Adobe and modify it and change it this way and change it that way? If you're not willing to ask them, then why would you ask anybody else? Especially somebody who's not in your state, because I could give you that info. I could say, yeah, do it. and then you do it and get in trouble. Well, whose fault is that? Hey, you asked, I gave you an answer. You didn't necessarily say you wanted the right answer. And that's how some people are acting out here. Like, well, you said you wanted an answer, Fred, so I gave you an answer. You paid me $100 to give you an answer, so I just said, yeah, do it. And then you go do it, and then you get blacklisted because that ain't what they want. And then the company's gonna be like, why didn't you ask us? So that's why I encourage y'all all the time. I tell y'all why I do things, and a lot of what I'm doing is based off of me asking or have asked, and they've said, well, no, case in point, I got to sign it tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Yeah, 1 o'clock, 217 pages. And it has trust verbiage in there. No, I'm sorry. That's the second one. The first one is just 22 pages. I'm sorry. The first one is 22 pages. So my question to them is on these 22 pages, it has trust verbiage on it. It says individually and successor trustee. Do they want that on it? Because there's nothing in the instructions, nowhere that says how they should sign. Do they sign just their name or do they sign their name and the title? I'm not going to get on Facebook or any place and ask that question. Should a person do that? I've already sent an email and got a response from the title company about it. And they said, we'll contact the title company. I mean, I got an email from the signing company about it. And they said, we'll contact the title company in the morning to find out. Cool. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do. But what I do is, if their name is clearly on the document, there's no need for me to put an arrow saying sign here. I just tell them sign where your name is at. If I think it's obscured, I will make sure, okay, here, I'll put an arrow there. But for the most part, I'm not really putting arrows on the document unless I feel that they might have a difficult time recognizing that's where they need to sign. Like if there's something that doesn't have their name on it on the signature line, okay, then I'm gonna do it that way. I will. So I hope I answered your question, but I do prep the documents, stuff like that. I already prepped the ones for the that I got for the tonight. I mean, for tomorrow, the 217 page, I've already prepped that as well as the 20 page one or 22 page one. So I've already prepped those. I'm good to go. But I do prep my documents as much as possible unless I'm super, super tired, then I won't do it. Okay. I won't do it. Any other questions or concern? Um, like you said, the notary primers aren't the full story. They are not. They truly are not. They're just a synopsis, and they have a reference in there to the notary law. So it says that it has a reference in there. You know, they'll make a statement, and if they don't have a reference to your notary law, then that means to them, or the statement they're giving is just their best practices, what they think is the best thing for you to do, because they don't have a definitive answer whatsoever. All right. Well, let me go. I think we good. Learn some stuff here tonight. That's what it's all about. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Um, and I will catch y'all on the flip side. All right. Y'all have a good one. Peace.